There is a love so deep it can grow from pain, a love so powerful it rises from the ruins of betrayal and loss. I have seen your wounds, and I do not waste them. Come, child. Let me show you how your past can bloom into unstoppable love. You have carried pain in silence for far too long, child. You've learned to smile while your soul trembled, to stand tall while the weight of old sorrow pressed against your chest like a stone. I was there the moment it began, that first fracture, the moment you were taught that love could wound, that trust could betray, that presence could vanish without warning. And instead of falling apart, you did what brave hearts do. You buried the wound, learned to adapt, to cope, to survive. But survival is not your calling. Love is. Healing is. Freedom is. I never designed you to live guarded and half alive. I created you to love boldly, to live fully, to shine without fear. But I also knew the world would try to dim that light. You thought hiding the pain would protect you, but in hiding it, you also buried your tenderness, your innocence, your openness to love again. I saw the nights when memories whispered louder than sleep. I saw you recoil when someone got too close, not because you didn't want love, but because the wound still pulsed beneath your skin. I understand, and I do not condemn you. I come not to judge your wounds, but to heal them. For what has been hidden too long must now be brought into light, not for shame, but for restoration. This is where it begins, not with loud declarations, but with honesty, with the quiet courage to say, I am hurting, with the willingness to feel what you've denied. The wound is not your weakness. It is the doorway to your transformation. For unless you allow yourself to see it, you will never know how I long to heal it. This pain you've carried is not random. It is not meaningless. Every scar has a name, and I know each one, not from a distance, but from the cross. I bled so you could be whole again, not just spiritually, but emotionally. I came to bind up the brokenhearted, not just to observe the brokenness, but to dwell inside it and pour love into every crack. You do not have to prove your worth to be healed. You do not have to earn love to be made whole. All you must do is turn toward me and say, I'm ready. And even if you can't yet say it, even your tears are a prayer. Even your silence speaks. I hear what your heart cannot say. I know what your mind still resists. And I will never walk away. I do not leave when it gets hard. I lean in. I restore. I love. And I stay. Let this be the first step. Stop pretending you are fine. You do not need to be strong for me to love you. You do not need to hide from me to stay. I saw your wound long before you admitted it, and I chose you anyway. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are mine, and I am not done with your story. Let the hidden wound be seen, so it can begin to heal. Let the pain you buried become the love I resurrect. Now that the wound has been acknowledged, let us speak of the ache that never left, even when you tried to forget, even when the years piled up between you, and the moment it first broke you. You see, time does not heal all wounds. I do. And until a wound is touched with truth and love, it lingers in the shadows, shaping your thoughts, your choices, your relationships. That ache you feel, that low, persistent sorrow that surfaces when the world quiets down, that is not weakness. That is the soul calling out for restoration. It is your spirit whispering, I was made for more than survival. I hear it. I have always heard it. You have tried to silence it with busyness, with logic, with pleasing others, with pretending. You have tried to tell yourself that it didn't matter, that you've moved on, that it wasn't that deep. But beloved, I am not fooled by masks, and neither is your heart. That is why you still flinch when someone leaves. That is why you struggle to trust even when love is offered. That is why you overthink the simple act of being loved. You are not broken beyond repair. You are still in mourning for what was lost, for the love that turned cold, for the promise that was shattered, for the child within you who was told they were too much, or not enough, or both. I know that ache. I carry it with you. You were never meant to carry it alone. I do not ask you to be over it before you've healed from it. I only ask you to bring it to me, not your polished, edited version of pain, but the real, raw ache, the one you don't even know how to name. Because when you do, something holy begins to happen. My presence wraps around it. My love enters the wound. And my truth begins to replace the lies that once took root there. Yes, some people failed you. Some words wounded you. Some moments marked you. But hear me. What happened to you is not your identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your abandonment. You are not your shame. You are my child, and I am not like them. I will never turn my back on you. I will never use love as a weapon. I will never ask you to shrink to be accepted. I came to restore your belief in love, not the shallow kind, not the conditional kind, but the sacred, covenant kind. A kind that stays. A kind that sees you and says, you are still worth choosing. So when the ache comes again, and it will do not run from it, invite me into it, sit with it in my presence. Let me hold it with you. Let me speak over it until it no longer controls you. For I promise you this, I will not let this pain go to waste. I will turn this ache into empathy. I will turn this grief into growth. I will turn this sorrow into strength. And one day, you will look back and see that even this pain became a pathway to deeper love, as it is written. Love your neighbor as yourself. And again, love never fails. These are not suggestions. They are the truth that sets hearts free. Do not be afraid to feel the ache. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to lead you back to me. And I will meet you in the ache with healing in my hands. The ache is real, but it is not the end. Let it lead you toward the love you've always deserved. Now that you have dared to name the pain and sit with the ache, something sacred is stirring within you, desire. Not the shallow desire to forget, but the deep longing to be made whole, to be free, to live unguarded again. This desire is not weakness. It is not foolishness. It is not naivete. It is the breath of your spirit awakening. It is your heart remembering that you are not made for bitterness or fear or numbness. You are made for love. And the fact that you still desire to heal after all you've endured, after all the trust that was broken, after all the times you were let down, is proof that your soul has not died. Your tenderness is still alive. And I, the one who created you, will never let that sacred part of you wither in vain. You've tried to protect yourself by saying you don't care anymore. But I know the truth. I know the moments when you wish someone would see beyond your silence. I know the tears that fall when no one is watching. I know the desperate prayers you've whispered, the ones that started with, God, if you're real, I have heard every one. And here I am, not just to comfort, but to restore. Not just to witness, but to respond. This desire to heal is not something you must manufacture. It is something I planted deep within you. It is holy. It is your spirit reaching for mine, and I will not ignore it. Healing begins not when everything is perfect, but when you say, I'm tired of pretending this doesn't hurt. When you admit you still want to believe in love, in hope, in something more than pain. And I tell you now, that desire is already drawing healing into your life. I am responding not to your performance, but to your hunger. For blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Your desire for healing is sacred ground, and I am walking on it with care and intention. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to know how to fix everything. You do not even need to know what healing will look like. You only need to say yes. Yes to me. Yes to love again. Yes to letting go of who hurt you. Yes to believing that your heart can bloom again, even if the soil was once trampled. You are not disqualified because of what you've been through. You are being made ready because of it. The ones who know pain deeply are often the ones who love the deepest because they know what it means to be without. So don't fear your desire. Fan it, feed it, speak it aloud. Let it rise, let it breathe. For it is the wind that carries you from despair to hope, from fear to faith, from numbness to love. Healing is not a distant dream. It is already beginning within you. The desire is the seed, and I am the gardener. And I will water it with my mercy, nourish it with my truth, and protect it with my presence until it grows into something beautiful, something lasting, something eternal. You were made to love again, not in spite of what happened, but because of it. You were made to rise, not by forgetting the past, but by transforming it. This desire is your compass. Follow it, and it will lead you straight to me. Desire is not a weakness. It is the voice of your healing calling you home. Now we arrive at the sacred turning point, the moment when healing begins not in theory, not in hope, but in experience. This is the moment when I, the God who formed you in the secret place, stretch forth my hand and touch what you thought could never be reached. You have carried your pain like armor, but now I ask you to remove it. Not because it wasn't useful for a time, but because it is not needed in my presence. I do not harm. I do not mock. I do not abandon. My touch is not like theirs. My touch does not exploit your weakness. It covers it with glory. It does not demand perfection. It honors your process. It does not pressure. It invites. Gently, faithfully, tenderly. And now I ask, will you let me touch the place you've never let anyone see? This is not a transaction. This is not a test. This is a holy encounter, one that transcends words and bypasses the intellect. You may not even understand what is happening. You may not feel lightning. You may not feel peace at first. You may feel vulnerable, raw, exposed. That is not a sign of failure. It is the sign that you are finally letting the healer come near. And in this moment, where the pain meets my presence, miracles begin. The wounds that have whispered lies for years begin to lose their voice. The fear that has chained your decisions begins to melt in the warmth of my love. The bitterness that tasted like protection is slowly replaced with the sweetness of surrender. You do not have to figure this out. You only have to stay in this moment. My touch will do what your striving never could. I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to be still. I am not asking you to fix the story. I am asking you to let me rewrite it. Do not run from this tenderness. This is what you have craved. This is the intimacy you are designed for. This is not about them. This is about me and you. This is about my hands rewriting what there's destroyed. This is about my voice speaking truth over the lies. This is about my presence inhabiting the place that once felt cursed. Let me touch the memory. Let me touch the loss. Let me touch the betrayal. You are not too damaged. You are not too complicated. You are not too late. I am the God who touched the leper and made him whole. I am the God who wept at Lazarus' tomb and then raised him. I am the God who chose the wounded to carry my glory. I am the God who does not turn away from pain. I step into it. And I am stepping into yours now. You will begin to feel lighter, not all at once, but breath by breath. You will begin to feel, again, not with fear, but with faith. And love, the very thing you were afraid of, will no longer be a threat, but a home. I am not touching you to break you. I am touching you to build you, to raise you, to resurrect you. This is the beginning of a new story, a new sound within your soul, a new softness without shame. This is where trust is born again, not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of the one who never left. This is where the heart dares to open. This is where you begin again. Let the moment of touch be the start of your rebirth. I am here. I am healing. I am staying. Now that you have allowed me to touch what was hidden, We walk together on the sacred path of healing, not an instant fix, not a quick escape, but a divine unfolding. Healing is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of me within your pain. It is not a straight line upward. It is a walk, a journey, a continual returning to the truth of who you are and who I am in you. Do not fear the days when the ache returns, or when tears surprise you in the middle of a joyful moment. Healing is not the denial of pain. It is the redemption of it. And I redeem all things, child, even this. Especially this. Some days will feel like progress, like lightness, like new breath in old lungs. Others may feel like old wounds reopening, like memories resurfacing, like shadows trying to reclaim your mind. Do not let that discourage you. Healing is not a betrayal of your strength. It is the reward of your honesty. And I am with you on every step of this uneven road. I am the one holding your hand when your knees tremble. I am the one reminding you that even when you feel like you're going backward, you are still moving forward in grace. I do not measure your progress by perfection. I measure it by presence, yours and mine. Together, let each small act of kindness toward yourself be a step. Let each no you speak to what once hurt you be a triumph. Let each boundary you set become a banner declaring, I am healing. I am worthy. I am no longer living in the past. You are being made new, not by effort alone, but by truth. By the truth that love does not hurt. Love does not leave. Love does not abandon or belittle or silence. Love listens. Love protects. Love restores. And I am love. Let my words replace the harshness of the voices you once believed. Let my presence be the mirror that reflects who you really are. Not broken, not too far gone, not weak, but brave, becoming, beautiful. When you falter, do not shame yourself. Bring it to me. When you feel numb, do not retreat. Bring it to me. When you are tempted to self-protect, pause and remember, I am your refuge now. You do not need the old walls. You do not need the old masks. You do not need to disappear to feel safe. I am your safety. I am your shelter. I am the one who sings over your pain and dances in your freedom. And I will walk with you every time you take a step forward, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you aren't sure if it's working. It is, because healing is not a feeling. It is a transformation from within. And I am the one doing the transforming. Remember what I have spoken. Love your enemies. Do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. And again, let this truth remain etched in your soul. Love never fails. The journey will test you, but it will also free you. The process may stretch you, but it will also shape you. And I will not stop until you are able to stand tall, love freely, and walk without fear. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are healing, and that is holy. Let every step forward be a declaration. I am not who I was. I am becoming who I was always meant to be. By now, you have tasted the first fruits of healing, but what comes next is even more sacred, the transformation from within. You see, true healing is not just the mending of what was broken. It is the birthing of a new you, the one who always existed beneath the pain, the one I created long before the world tried to name you by your scars. This transformation is not about becoming someone else. It is about coming home to yourself, the self I designed in wholeness, in beauty, in purpose. You are not returning to a former version of you. You are rising into the fullness of who I always knew you were. This is where courage begins to overtake fear. This is where compassion replaces cynicism. This is where peace, not perfection, becomes your compass. You begin to notice that the wounds which once defined you have become doorways, pathways into deeper love, deeper empathy, deeper truth. And this is no accident. This is what I always intended, that nothing would be wasted, that what tried to bury you would instead become the soil for which your greatest gifts would grow. That the heartbreak you endured would expand your capacity to love. That the tears you cried would soften the soil of other hardened hearts. Transformation is not loud. It is not always visible to others. It often happens in the quiet places, in the daily choices to forgive, to breathe, to rest, to stay open when closing would feel safer. It happens in the silence when you choose faith over fear, presence over performance, vulnerability over pride. This is where the real battle has always been, not outside of you, but within. And this is where you are now winning. Slowly, steadily. Surely, I see the shifts that no one else sees. I see the way you pause before reacting. The way you speak to yourself with more kindness. The way you no longer chase what doesn't honor you. The way you open your hands more than you clench your fists. These are not small things, child. These are the signs that my spirit is alive in you. That you are no longer ruled by your past, but led by my promise. That you are no longer defined by what broke you, but by who is building you. You are becoming love. You are becoming truth. You are becoming light. And soon you will look back and not recognize the person who once doubted they could heal. You will see how your heart, once shattered, now holds more joy than it ever thought possible. You will see how your voice, once silenced, now sings with strength and softness. You will see how the pain that tried to destroy you only deepened your roots in me. This is not the end of your healing. It is the beginning of your calling. For those who have been healed deeply will love deeply. And those who have risen from ashes carry a fire that cannot be quenched. You are that fire. You are that vessel. And I am not finished with you yet. What once felt like a curse is becoming your crown. What once felt like failure is becoming your fuel. And through it all, I have been with you, inside you, not as a distant force, but as the pulse of your becoming. Let this truth echo in your spirit. I am not what I've been through. I am who God is forming through it all. Now, beloved, come closer than ever before. Rest in this final truth, not the end of your journey, but the revelation that will carry you into everything I have prepared for you. You have walked through pain that should have silenced your hope. You have faced days when getting out of bed was an act of rebellion against despair. You have sat in rooms of people and still felt alone. And yet, here you are, not defeated, not forgotten, but transformed. This is my love letter to you, written not on paper, but in the fibers of your becoming. This is my song over your scars, not to remind you of the pain, but to reveal the purpose I have always hidden within them. You are not just healing. You are healed in me. You are not just surviving. You are shining. And though your wounds may not vanish, they are no longer your identity. They are now your testimony. What was meant to harm you has become your holiness. What tried to bury you has become your birthplace of compassion. What once silenced you has now taught you to speak with clarity, mercy, and courage. You are not the same, and that is a miracle. You did not break. You broke open, and I poured myself in you may still wonder. But will love ever come to me? And I tell you this, love is already here. My love has never left. And because of it, human love, the kind that is real, that stays, that sees your soul and not just your surface, will come too. You are being prepared not just to receive love, but to give it with a strength and gentleness the world rarely sees. You have become a safe place for others, not because you were spared pain, but because you chose to let pain teach you how to love better, not less. Do not fear that your tenderness will be wasted. It will water deserts. It will soften walls. It will draw the right people to your life, not because you chased them, but because you stood in your worth, your wholeness, your truth. You do not need to beg for love. You are love. You do not need to perform to be worthy. You are worthy. And you do not need to hide anymore. I see you fully. and I love every layer of you. Let that be enough now. Let that be the foundation you build upon. I have never taken my eyes off you. From your first cry to your silent sobs, to your quiet prayers whispered into the pillow at midnight, I was there. I am still there. And I will never leave. What I began in you, I will finish. What I planted in pain, I will bloom in promise. What once broke, you will now become the bridge that leads others to me. So take heart, beloved, lift your face to the light again. Let the past rest, not because it didn't matter, but because you no longer need to carry it alone. Let the future come, not with fear, but with faith. Let love find you, not as a rescuer, but as a reflection of what I've already placed within you. This is not the end. This is the beginning of bold love, of deep joy, of divine purpose. You are ready. You are worthy. You are mine, and remember this. Your scars are not signs of failure. They are signs of survival, of becoming, of a love that never gave up on you. Take a deep breath. Look at yourself with new eyes. Speak to your soul. I am healed. I am loved. I am ready. Then go love like you've never been hurt, because now you love from wholeness.